Everybody ask me how I know. I smiled at them and said she told me so. Everybody ask me how I know. I smiled at them and said she told me so. Everybody ask me how I know. I smiled at them and said she told me so. Everybody, 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 everybody ask me how I know. I smiled at them and said she told me so. I know. Everybody ask me how I know. I smiled at them and said she told me so. I know.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So it's Friday, it's the weekend, we made it, and on top of that, it's actually my birthday today, guys. So yes, to all the trolls that love to go in the live stream and always say happy birthday, well, today's your day. And what have the markets brought me? A sea of red. Why am I not surprised? But in all sincerity, guys, yes, it has been a long journey, and looking back on things, had I sold exactly 1 year ago on my birthday, yes, I'd be in a much better place. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't have experienced that journey or met the people or had opportunities to go to these different conferences. And growing this channel with all of you has honestly been the coolest freaking experience of my life. And honestly, I want to say this is not my day. This is your day. Seriously, thank you so much for everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting. You guys really give me life. And, a lot of people say, K-Dub, you really help us get through the tough times. Well, guess what? So do you guys, okay? Because sometimes I wake up and I look at these charts and think to myself, like, damn, And it really is nice to have you guys, always supportive as well, joining the Telegram chat. I love to read all your comments. So that being said, I had to get that out of the way just today. It's only this one day. That's it, okay? Now, moving on, I know you guys don't care. Why you're really here is because we want to talk about prices and markets and what's going on in the news, right? So let's give it a quick refresh live because I've been talking. So we have a $104 billion market cap. Now, we have seen a bit of a pullback. Bitcoin dominance has shot up to 55.1%, sitting around $3,287, 29 cent XRP, $86 Ethereum, okay? Now, if we have a look at the biggest gainers of the day, we do see Decred is actually up 10%, followed by Ravane, Waves, Bitcoin Diamond, 10x, Metaverse ETP, Bitcoin Private, Factum, USD, and DAI. Now, one thing, if you're new, I do want to just show you real quick, although today it's probably not going to make much of a difference. But if you do switch it over from the USD to the Bitcoin comparative, you do notice that some of these projects are actually not all in the red. You can actually see Bitcoin, well, I said Bitcoin Diamond before, but, Bytum and Cash is also up as well. We also have a Huobi token, not by much, but, just a tool in case you guys are interested. If you haven't seen this graph enough, this is where we are. Okay, clearly we fell off a cliff right here, and we're really just trying to find that bottom. We're trying to find that stability, but we just keep breaking and smashing through lower and lower and lower. Yesterday I had a video saying we cannot go past 3,000. I didn't literally mean we actually physically can't. I was just presenting some information for why going below $3,000 potentially could see an immediate spike back. So some people are saying we could hit 29, you might have that instant bottom V, right? So that's pretty much all we're talking about. But I want to start today off with a little bit of controversy, because why not? Right? It's my birthday. I can do whatever the hell I want today. But in all sincerity, I wanted to talk about Bitcoin. I came across this article and it said, I'm interested in reasons and opinions of people that are bullish on crypto but don't own Bitcoin. Given that Bitcoin was the original cryptocurrency, it has survived 10 years, has the highest market cap, why would you not want to own Bitcoin? So, I go down here and you're looking into some of these answers. I believe the chances of making a higher return on investment are in other coins because I hold coins with better technology and a lower market cap for potential higher returns. I think a lot of people would agree that that is why they tend to gamble on the altcoins. Another person says, I simply don't buy the Bitcoin narrative. To me, Ethereum represents a much more flexible approach to designing sound money. In particular, because ETH itself does not need to be sound money, it can remain a speculative asset while sound money is built on top of it as a token, I guess through like stable coins and stuff. Through on-chain network effects, this sound money can be built into different applications natively. I think Bitcoin will be around for a while. I'm just not convinced it's going to be the killer app app of blockchain. You also have this person saying, same reason I don't own VHS tapes anymore. And then, another saying, I don't want to own AOL and MySpace stock when I'm seeing Google and Facebook coming up right before my eyes. So, I mean, really, guys, the question is, like, I'm not trying to, spur arguments in the comments. I actually genuinely am curious. If you're in Bitcoin, or if you're in crypto, and you haven't purchased Bitcoin, why? Or if you did own Bitcoin, but you've recently sold your Bitcoin, why? I'm genuinely curious, I mean, obviously XRP has been doing a lot in the background, so I just kind of want to start some friendly conversation. I do read all your comments, so let me know. What do you think about Bitcoin? I mean, is it dinosaur? Is it outdated? Could it be used as a base layer, and then we could have these second layer solutions on top of it? Just drop below. I just thought it'd be a fun way to start off. Now, let's get into actually what's happening. So, what is happening, regardless of our opinions, is that Bitcoin's persistent failure to produce a notable price bounce despite extreme oversold conditions indicates that the bearish sentiment is very strong. As a result, a convincing break below the 200-week moving average support of $3,170 cannot be ruled out. Also, Bitcoin has charted lower price highs. You can see them by these arrows, hopefully I'm not in your way, along the downward sloping 10-day exponential moving average. Notably, Bitcoin persistently failed to close above the EMA hurdle at the end of last month. Hence, the 10-day EMA currently at 3,465 is the level for the bulls to beat. So basically they're saying 3,465 is the barrier that we're looking for to break through. I also wanted to talk about Bitcoin bear market. Okay, if we look back at 2011, we noticed that the Bitcoin kind of bottomed out at 76% below the 200-day moving average. Now, to put that into perspective, this is going to be a little crazy to say this out loud, but at present, currently 76% below the 200-day moving average in Bitcoin is extremely low and would have to put Bitcoin around $1,500. Just gonna be real here. Just throwing out the numbers here. So, even though that sounds pretty extreme, it becomes a possibility to be considered. So, yeah, I mean, guys, we're hoping Bitcoin holds above $3,000. If it doesn't, it's pretty much, you're just guessing at that point. So moving on and having a look, we were talking about the Coinbase conspiracy the other day and Barry Silbert and his group, the digital currency group. Now, he recently said that, it's just been an overall bad period in general. Venture capital firms have started to pull out from deals. He says we've seen half a dozen fundraising deals fall apart over the past months after the lead pulled out. All is not well in crypto VC land, and it's definitely a very, very tough time. But on the flip side, the interesting thing is, granted that so many projects are having such difficulty because they weren't really able to manage their funds properly, and so many people have lost so much money, at the same time, we're seeing searches for Bitcoin up in both United States and United Kingdom. So the evidence suggests that cryptocurrencies haven't lost their popularity, but something's not right with the price. Something's not right with how these products are delivering, right? So there's some other analysts that are claiming that one of the main reasons behind the present wintry conditions, crypto winter, is basically because of a lack of investor knowledge and education. So they basically say that a lot of industry experts are saying that Bitcoin became really as big as it did simply because people just bought it. Honestly, they just bought it and didn't know what they were buying. They didn't even know what the tech was. They didn't know what it was. They were just like, oh, my friend says buy it, it's going to go up, right? So the fact that so many people, didn't really know what they were getting into, is definitely showing that there's huge disconnect between actual knowledge of the space and people just blindly speculating, right? So if Bitcoin and other digital assets are to continue gaining attention and respect that they do deserve, investors are probably going to have to spend some time learning about what it is that they're getting involved in. Now, I want to take the flip side of that and also say, at the same time, when it comes to adoption, people don't need to know what the heck they're using, right? Investors need to understand what they're investing in, but for mass adoption, people don't. They just want to use a freaking app. They just want to use money. They just want to buy something or have a collectible, right? So those are all things that you have to look at. Now, Tom Lee, he's always in the news. I know, we talk about Bitcoin predictions, which is interesting because he's actually recently came out and said that he doesn't want to give any more price predictions. He says he's getting annoyed with everybody's pathological obsession with where the mundane daily price fluctuations are going to go. Yet he's like the guy that's constantly making the predictions. So I think it's kind of funny saying, oh, I don't want to make any predictions, but here's a prediction. So recently, he says that the price of Bitcoin currently is wrong. He thinks that the fair market value of Bitcoin should be valued roughly between $13,800 and $14,800. But what exactly is fair market value?
In its simplest sense, fair market value, FMV, is the price that property would sell for on the open market, a term commonly used in tax and real estate. Fair market value has come to represent the price of an asset under the following usual set of conditions. Prospective buyers and sellers are reasonably knowledgeable about the asset, behaving in their own best interests, free of undue pressure to trade and given a reasonable time period for completing the transaction. Given these conditions, an asset's fair market value should represent an accurate valuation or assessment of its worth.
Listen, I don't really know much about anything, but Bitcoin's currently trading for $3,265. So if that's what it's trading at, isn't that technically the fair market value? But anyway, let's get back. So looking into this, he says that this assessment was made by considering the number of active wallet addresses, usage per account, and supply metrics. So fair value is significantly higher than the current price of Bitcoin. In fact, working backwards to solve the current price of Bitcoin, this implies crypto wallets should fall to 17 million from 50 million currently. His price prediction going forward is going to depend on mainstream adoption of the cryptocurrency as an asset class and growing consumer adoption. He also insisted that Bitcoin's fair market value would easily rocket to $150,000 if Bitcoin wallets approach to just 7% of Visa's 4.5 billion account holders. Now, he has been very positive on the space. I mean, I know. See, the thing is if you talk about negative stuff, you're fudding. If you talk about positive stuff, you're spreading hopium. I like to just take an overall approach, see what everyone's talking about. We know that the sentiment is negative. But he has spoken at Blockchain Asia in 2018, and he said that crypto only has 50 million active wallets so far against, take for example, the 254 million PayPal accounts that were recorded in Q3 of this year alone. So these are just all different things, comparing Bitcoin to other payment systems in terms of social network value. Tom Lee also says that he thinks that in 10 years, Bitcoin could be worth, I'm getting the drum roll in for this one, $10 million a coin. That's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. We're moving on. So guys, do you understand? We can predict it all the way down to $50. We can predict it all the way up to 10 million. Realistically, nobody knows. There is a reason though that I am making this video and you are watching this video. Clearly there's some kind of interest. Now we have seen interest also from institutions as well as these different types of educational facilities. For example, researchers from University of Cambridge Judge Business School have found that Bitcoin will likely bounce back, okay? So going on, they say, while it's true that the 2017 bubble, 2017, 2018, I guess if you want to talk about the after effects, was the largest in Bitcoin's history, the market capitalization of both Bitcoin and crypto asset ecosystems still exceeds its levels that it was in January, when Bitcoin was only trading around $1,000. So the speculation of the death of the market and the ecosystem has been greatly exaggerated, and so it seems likely that the future expansion plans of the industry and the participants in it, it's still going to happen, probably just going to be a little bit delayed, going to have a little bit of a setback, okay? So researchers also found that millions of new users have entered the ecosystem over the last 12 months, though most are passive. So to comment back on the thing that Tom Lee was saying, yes, we have all these different wallets, but unfortunately, only around 38% of all users are actually active. Most users just have bought some crypto, and that's it. I had a couple friends last year, they bought into some crypto, they bought some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some Litecoin, and then they just let it sit in their Coinbase wallet for the whole year. That was it. So one of the problems comes from that usability, are you actually using it? If you're not using it, Well, then what's the purpose of it, right? Use it or lose it. That's how they always say. And the thing is looking at these institutions coming in, we have the API notice that came out from ICE. So this is for Bakkt. And they're saying that pending regulatory approval, which is the key phrase here, we are still scheduled for January 24th, 2019 launch. So, considering ICE's reputation and experience in negotiations with the CFTC, the product is largely expected to receive clearance by the date. So more than likely, we're going to have Bakkt. All right. Obviously, they pushed back before, but they were postponing it for testing purposes. Plus, they said that they felt kind of weird, launching this right smack dab in the middle of the holidays. That's directly from them, by the way. You can actually research that. And the other interesting thing is when you're talking about people onboarding, we know that China basically has completely banned crypto, right? They're totally against it. They're not cool. But what's interesting is 7.5 million Chinese people apparently are in crypto. Now, this is as of September, so this is an increase of 230% just over the past year, as you can see according to this chart right here. So it really is interesting. So China can ban its own banks from dealing with crypto, but obviously not foreign banks. So an easy way to get around the ban would be to transfer outside of the country up to around 50,000 US dollars due to capital controls. We've seen some issues where people have tried to move more than that and red flags got set off. But that being said, it's interesting to see a country that is banning it still got people using it. I just wanted to throw that out there. And we also have a lot of these different, for example, Weiss ratings, they came out, and I know people have opinions on them. They said now's the best time to buy Bitcoin, or in their opinion it is. And, you also have the second largest stock exchange in Germany, basically in partnership with Solaris Bank's blockchain factory. So they're pressing ahead for a cryptocurrency exchange that's scheduled to launch in the first half of next year. This is just more institutional adoption. And you also have CZ from Binance, and he's kind of having a counter opinion against what we saw from the other, I can't remember the guy's name right now. The guy that was saying the VC stuff. So he says, while VCs are afraid to invest in cryptocurrency, Barry Silver, that's his name. So he says, while VCs are afraid to invest in cryptocurrency sector now, as Barry Silver said, Binance has expanded. His name was in the freaking tweet. Oh my goodness, guys, I'm having a moment today. So he says, while many VCs have paused and are actually more comfortable investing now, valuations are more reasonable, more have prototypes and products and strong teams. So basically what he's saying is, whatever's left after this shakeout of all these scams and all these crappy ICOs and all these companies that couldn't manage their funds and were too busy, spending money on yachts and who knows what, we're really being left with the cream of the crop. And what we're actually finding is that the, handful of companies that are still in the space are going forward at double speed and just putting their heads down and working. And that's something that makes me really excited. And I wanted to kind of just give a funny flashback to some quotes about inventions that were initially dismissed that later went on to change the world. So you have Ken Olsen. He's a computer pioneer, and he said there's no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. Well, not only do we have them in our homes, but now we have them in our hands as well. Right? In our pockets. We have smartphones. Then you have former Microsoft CTO in 1977. Apple is already dead. Is it though? We also have French General Ferdinand Foch, I guess his name is. Airplanes are interesting toys, but of no military value. Well, we know that got proven, false. And then in Time Magazine in 2000, they said online shopping, while entirely feasible, will flop. We also know that turned out to not be true. So, some other things I wanted to point out was you have two pro-crypto members of the French parliament want the country to invest up to 500 million euros in a blockchain program to elevate France as blockchain nation. Now, they're expressing urgency in this because they're basically saying that France needs to capitalize on this new technology before others do. Notably, you have China, which even though they don't like crypto, they're very blockchain forward, they like it, and the United States. They noted that France was kind of late to the internet revolution in the 1990s, and they don't want to miss this opportunity again. Now, interestingly enough, as far as the US is concerned, we are seeing some type of leeway being given in certain specific situations. So some blockchain token projects may actually be allowed to bypass US securities registration requirements by obtaining a so-called no action letter from the SEC. So generally, token issuers have three options if they want to conduct an ICO. You can register as a security, you can apply for an exemption, or you can do neither, but you better make damn sure you're not a security, right? So in limited cases, they're saying that the SEC could decide that maybe this doesn't fit the letter of our law or regulation, but it fits the spirit and we can accomplish all the goals of investors' protection. In those rare instances, the SEC may issue a no action letter. Now, while speaking about that, you do have Pantera, right? Capital. You have Dan Moorhead saying, well, while we believe the vast majority of projects in our portfolio should not be affected, approximately 25% of our funds are invested in projects with liquid tokens that have already sold to U.S. investors, and they've done this without using Regulation D or Regulation S. So if any of these projects are actually deemed to be securities, the U.S. SEC position could adversely affect them. So of these projects, about a third or approximately 10% of their particular portfolio are live and functional, and while they could technically continue without further development, ending development would hinder their progress. So this is basically what is going on in crypto today, guys. Happy birthday. Oh, man. So let's get into some coin news, guys. Let's get into some coin news. It's the weekend. So we have the UAE Exchange, which is one of the leading global money transfer and exchange solutions, planning to implement RippleNet into its services by Q1 of 2019. So this is pretty cool news. The move would make UAE Exchange the largest payment solution provider in the Middle East to use Ripple's technology. Also, Ripple is gearing up for its 2019 with its Paris FinTech Forum, where you're going to have CEO Brad Garlinghouse speaking at. Also, this was kind of funny. I didn't see this. I missed this, but apparently eToro made a tweet where they were talking about their stance on XRP, and it was a video where they appeared to recommend that traders diversify their portfolios away from XRP. And apparently they got an earful from the XRP army. So it looks like they took it down, and then they basically wanted to just put a tweet back up saying, no, we're just essentially saying, diversify. That was really it. But I just thought it was kind of funny. XRP army, man. You guys gotta love them. So Tron has also adopted a new proposal that will reduce the amount of energy it takes to execute smart contracts. The proposal was approved by 22 of the 28 community elected nodes that process transactions on the network. We also have Israeli hybrid blockchain platform Orbs has announced that it's entering in an investment partnership with the venture arm of South Korea internet group Kakao. This is pretty massive. Now, I've actually heard about Orbs. I was looking through trying to see what they're all about. Looks pretty interesting. I've heard a lot of people talk about them. I don't know if they're going through an ICO. I haven't done any research on it. I plan on it, but I haven't done it yet. But it looks like currently you can't get this token. But it is interesting to see some South Korean projects as well. In fact, I was quite shocked when I saw this. Markus from Deblock has actually recently just left. And we just spoke on the channel, it's got to be less than a month ago, about Icon and everything else. So, initially, my reaction is, oh no, this is bad news. Well, it turns out that, let me start with the bottom first. He basically says that he was extremely passionate about the digital economy and everything, but he says that now he feels more strongly than ever the need to do more than just simply invest. He says despite all talks of scalability and usability issues, the blockchain space is seeing an incredible amount of money and effort to build out its infrastructure, and I believe it's ready to support mainstream applications, and high time they did. Markus is a really cool dude, by the way. But anyway, he had some very nice words to say about his time at Deblock, and I just wanted to read this quick paragraph. He says, "My time at Deblock and Icon coincided with one of the worst downturns in the cryptocurrency market. In spite of this, I can say that Icon team has made incredible progress. I've seen Icon push for significant progress in legitimizing blockchain and cryptocurrencies with the Korean government, receiving the Minister Award for being an industry leader in the blockchain space, and launching demonstrations and several projects in conjunction with the Seoul metropolitan government. I've seen several hires in every Icon department, including senior positions, most of which weren't even made public. And the team is still actively hiring to this day. And this is while most other companies are firing, okay? They say, while I can't speak for the Icon team, my experience with the Icon Council members have always been positive, and by any objective standard, they are some of Korea's most competent individuals in their respective field. It is no accident they are leading the industry. So you can kind of see that you've seen some projects that aren't able to sustain themselves, and Icon, granted, they've taken a massive beating, as have pretty much every single project. They are still working. So between December 2016 and 2018, the ICO team moved around 70% of their funds to other portfolios, perhaps as part of a sale of some sort. But even after ETH has crashed all the way down from whatever it was, $1,300 to freaking 80-something dollars right now, they still have around $5 million left of funds. So the figures prove that Icon is far from being insolvent at the time, and in contrast to several other ICO projects that have either gone out of business or are in money crisis, they continue to push forward. Finally, Markus says, I've seen the best of Icon in the worst of times. That's why I'm confident Icon is here to stay. So I just wanted to say, man, Markus, really appreciate your support and good luck in everything that you do. And, these are projects that, in my personal opinion, need to be put in the spotlight. Projects like Icon, projects like XRP, projects like Cardano. I know I'm going to miss a name and someone's going to get angry, but you know what I'm saying. You know the projects that are out there that are working on it, guys. You know them. Despite the price, I know you have projects that you believe in. There's all these different communities out there. Tron, even. A lot of people like to diss on Tron. Tron is building. Guys, Tron is building, okay, whether or not we want to admit it. So just wanted to had to go into a little bit of a spiel there, guys. But I also wanted to say we have, again, CEO of CoinFlux, Vlad Nister, is currently under investigation as he's been arrested and detained. Now, this time this is by the U.S. government. Interestingly enough, this is from a Romanian-based cryptocurrency exchange, and they're getting hit with fraud, computer fraud, although fraud, computer fraud, I guess those are different, money laundering, and what amounts apparently to be racketeering. So it looks like they've had their bank accounts frozen, and unfortunately, this is not turning out well for the people that are on the exchanges. So guys, once again, don't keep your money on exchanges. I feel like a broken record. If you're not actively trading, put it in a wallet where you own your own private keys, because you never know when an exchange is going to have its funds frozen. Also, crazy news story. Actually, my dad told me about this morning on the phone. He called me up. He had his surgery yesterday, so he's chilling. He's just in bed right now. And he was like, "Did you hear about this guy that's doing bomb threats for Bitcoin?" So apparently there's some investigations underway in Australia and New Zealand following reports of bomb threats where the sender is demanding a payment in Bitcoin, failure to which they will detonate an explosive device. Also, what criminal is demanding Bitcoin? Bitcoin is not private. You're going to get caught as soon as you move the money and sell it for something else. Anyway, I digress. Moving on, you can see right here that they say, while advising Australians not to respond to the sender of the bomb threats or to pay the ransom, the cybersecurity agency indicated that it is taking the threat very seriously. So the ACSC believes this to be a scam. However, as a precaution, state policing agencies are treating this as a real threat until confirmed. Otherwise, if you receive the email, we encourage you to contact your local police. And he actually went on to say, my dad was saying, this is the problem. People hear this and then they go and they assume, oh, these crazy Bitcoin people, So that being said, if that doesn't make you happy, guys, let's end this on a positive note. We have B is for Bitcoin, which is apparently a cool little book now that, people are getting in schools and kids can learn and read up about Bitcoin and, stuff like that. So pretty cool. Also, friendly reminder before we go, guys, there's just 6 days left for the Codlar Pro 3 giveaway. This is a cold wallet. It has a $620 value. We are giving away 2 absolutely free. We gave away 3 Trezors last month absolutely free. So if you guys are interested, you want to get registered, there's over 1,000 registers right now. So, go over there, drop a line, head over to the blockchain brief. I always have the description in my information. If you guys haven't checked it out, you don't have to sign up. If you want, you can just put your email in. You don't have to pay anything. If you do want to join, it's $5 a month, but no one's making you do that. And this you can still get totally. So check it out, guys. That being said, once again, thank you so much on this Friday for coming out. I really appreciate you guys. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, you freaking rule. Hope everyone really has a great start to their weekend. I know we're having a bit of a red day, but you know, it's crypto. What are you going to do? You guys are awesome. You're the reason I do this every day. That being said, my name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.